Is feeling good? Okay, good. I'm Nicole, again, I'm your advisor, and everyone who's in this room is in the full-time foundation semester coming up, right? You're doing the 2-year full-time program. Okay, just making sure our advanced standing students all went to 110. Okay, perfect. So, welcome. I just want to tell you a few things, a few logistics about you got a folder when you checked in, and it has a lot of paper in it. This is probably the most paper you'll ever receive from us, which is probably a good thing because we've killed a lot of trees today. So, but I just want to bring your attention, when you open up your folder, there are, on your left-hand side is a handbook, which we'll talk about in a minute. But on the right-hand side, you'll see a degree plan that I probably printed out for you with your name on it. And then there should be a green sheet of paper behind it. And on that is your enrollment numbers. And on the back of that is important dates, okay? So I just want you to kind of be aware of those things. If for some reason I put you as, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay. If for some reason I listed you as clinical when you want to be macro, or you're macro and I want to be clinical, don't panic. We'll talk, and we can email me later today or come find me later today and we can switch you up. There's a few of you that I put notes on your degree plans, and that means we just need to check in next week because I have a few questions, or you have a specialized degree plan that we need to figure out together, okay? And then right behind that is the slideshow that we're going to be going over. So if you want to take any notes or anything, most of the information will be here on the slideshow, but if there's anything that I talk about you want to write down, this is a good place to see where we're going to be talking about it. So just a little background on me. I've been here for 3 years. This is my 3rd year as an academic advisor. Dr. Mulhagen mentioned earlier, Cindy Cruz is the other academic advisor, so if I'm not here, she pretty much knows everything I do, and same for me. We kind of can help each other out. So, but before I worked here, I did not graduate from this program, although sometimes I wish I did because I love the diversity here. But I graduated from UT Austin a long, long time ago. And I worked at CPS for 14 years. So if anyone is in Child Protective Services or interested in working in that area, I'll be happy to talk to you. I worked every division: investigations, conservatorship, family-based, and adoption. So I know that whole program pretty well. And then I spent a year after that in a middle school. And then I came here. So just a little bit about me. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So like Amber mentioned, this is our office. And we all work together on the first floor, and you'll see us throughout the year. So if you have any questions, just refer back to this page and you can contact us for different reasons. This is a picture of the faculty, just like Amber talked about, but I wanted to put this slide up here for a reason, and that is our website has a plethora of information. So if you ever have a question, you're always welcome to email me, but a lot of the information is on our website. Like you can go and you can find forms, you can find current student schedules and previous student schedules. There's just a wealth of information on there. So, and also, the most important thing, I forgot. The faculty are listed, the directory is listed there, and then all of their areas of interest. So for a lot of you, if you're interested in, like you came here and you know that you want to work in human trafficking, like in your heart that that's why you came here and that you hope to graduate with your master's and then go and work in an agency that's going to work with victims of human trafficking, but we don't offer a class on it. Well, you might want to look at our faculty list and see if there's somebody who has an area of interest in that and do an independent study with that faculty, right? So that's why it's really helpful. Okay, so now this is an overview of our degree plan. Your first semester, you will be doing 16 semester credit hours, right? And in that, you'll be doing that foundations class that you'll be starting on August 16th and 17th. That'll be 6201. And then the rest of your classes will be just throughout the semester. But that very first class is just those first 2 days. And I'm sure Dr. Nierendorf will talk more about that. And then after that, you'll be in what's called advanced curriculum. And there's 47 hours of that. You can either be clinical or macro. Does everyone know if they want to be clinical or macro, or you guys, who's unsure? Raise your hand if you're not sure. That's okay. You know why? Because you have a whole semester to decide. So whereas our advanced standing students have to come in and know right off the bat because they could hit the ground running. So it's okay if you don't know, and if you have any questions or are confused about which way you should go, you can make an appointment with me and we can talk it through. But the good news is, whether you're clinical or macro, your degree at the end says MSW, and it doesn't state on your diploma whether you're clinical or macro, right? So if you change your mind and you're like, oh no, at the end I graduate with a macro degree, you can still go into working a clinical job. You just have to go and get your clinical license work too. So that's why I'm saying don't panic. There's opportunities in both areas, and we can talk more about where you want to go and what you want to do, and that will help you determine which route you should choose. We also have 4 specializations, so you don't have to do a specialization. A specialization is like a minor, right? So except it's also not on your diploma, or on your transcript. It's really, the point of a specialization is to, it's sort of for your own purpose. Like what I talked about earlier, like I came here because I really want to go and do hospital social work. Well, then it might be a really good idea for you to do our health and behavioral health specialization, because a lot of hospitals, their social workers graduated from this program, and they might ask you about it, right? So in that case, it might be a really good thing to do. Or you came here and you really wanted to focus on, like we talked about human trafficking. You could do an individualized specialization and focus on that. And that way, when you're looking for jobs, you can tell your future employer, well, not only did I take these classes, but I made it my specialization, right? Like my heart and soul is in this area of interest, and that's why I put all this emphasis on it in my education. So it's really like a tool for you to use in future employment endeavors, is what I'd say. Any questions so far? Okay, this is what your schedule will look like. You will be here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, aside from August 16th and 17th. You will be here on Wednesdays and Thursdays all day. And things have changed a little bit this year. In previous years, we had, the classes were 2 hours each, and so you had 3 different classes, and it was a lot more confusing. And so we tried to make it more consistent. You have the same classes all semester, and they're 3 hours apiece, and it made it all so much smoother. So the other thing I wanted to tell you about this is, so you have class on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then later today you're going to learn about field. And so you also want to plan for time in your week to handle the field hours that you're going to be required to do for Field 1 and next semester in Field 2. So I always tell people, if you are working full-time, this is not the program. This is not the enrollment model you want to be in. We need to figure something else out. This is, if you can work part-time, and I'd say, working up to about 20 hours is doable, but that's about it. I would not go past that. So if you are working full-time, please check in with me so that we can talk about some other options for you, because I don't want to see anyone fail. And I think that oftentimes we think we're superhuman, and it's a common character trait amongst us social workers. And I know I do it too. Anyone else overcommit? I know I do, right? So here you really have to be careful, because not only will you have 2 days of classes, but then you'll have a lot of coursework and a lot of papers to do, and then on top of that, field work, in addition to all your family responsibilities. So just keep that in mind when you're moving forward. Okay, mark your calendars. November 28th is the research conference. You will be taking research as part of your foundation. It's one of your classes in foundation, and you'll be working on your research project the whole semester. So don't panic. Your research professors do not expect you to be masters in research, bless you. Do not expect you to be masters in research. They're going to help guide you through the process and teach you what you need to know to be successful and to do well with your research project. But what you'll do is you'll be presenting these research projects at the end of the semester at this conference, and it is required. So make sure you mark this down and that you are there on that day. One other thing I meant to say in the previous slide when we were talking about schedules. So this upcoming year, there are going to be some renovations that are going on in this building. So the first floor is going to get a redo, which we desperately need. But it's unfortunate that's also going to fall during your time here. So most of your classes will either be on the second floor of this building, or you'll be in the building next door called Agnes Arnold, which is just attached. It's that, you know, that when you walked in that breezeway that connected to another building, that's where Agnes Arnold is. And then, so you're doing advising with me right now, and then later this afternoon, you'll be meeting with the field office and learning about field education. And Shelley Gonzalez and Jackie Griffin will be your main contacts there, and they'll guide you through everything you need to know. Okay. Now, so we talked about your foundation semester, right? That's what you'll be doing this upcoming semester. After that, you'll be doing advanced curriculum, and these classes are offered in a strategic order. So that's why I put in your folders. I printed out a degree plan that I thought worked best for you guys, and then I also printed out there's a checklist. So what I want you to do is open your folders, and there is a white cardstock that has, where is it? Here it is. It's on the left-hand side behind the handbook, and it has a list of classes, right? All the classes that you need to take. And this is your Bible. I want you to look at this and hold on to it, because you need to check off all the boxes on this sheet, and that's how you know you're ready to graduate. If you haven't checked off all the boxes, we're going to run into a problem. So, and this is really great too, because if you've you come in with transfer credit, we can check them off, and also if you're advanced standing, you can see that you have a waiver. So it's very detailed, and it tells you exactly what you need to do. So if you look down at the third box down below course requirements, it says Advanced Social Policy Analysis. So this is where we get into the 4 courses that everyone has to take. If you're clinical or macro, everyone has to take the class you're taking at the beginning of school year, 6201, and then you take Social Policy Analysis, which is offered both in the fall and the spring, Confronting Oppression and Justice, which is only offered in the spring, and then if you are clinical, you'll take Evaluation of Practice, and if you're macro, you'll take Program Planning and Evaluation. So now we have over here the 2 different concentrations. On the left-hand side is clinical concentration courses, and on the right side is macro. You both have to take 4 required classes. The only difference is that clinical, that last 4th class, you have an option. You can tailor it if you want to take group therapy, clinical practice with children, or clinical practice with elders. You can take any of those classes, and they count for that clinical elective. The last class that's on there is called Clinical Practice with, I'm sorry, I can't talk, hold on. Clinical Practice with Families, and I'm not sure why that's on there because it has not yet been offered. They keep telling me it's coming, but it's been a full year and it has not come yet. So I just kind of want to put a disclaimer on that one. If you're holding out for that one, I wouldn't. And hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised and it'll be offered in the spring, but so far it's not offered this fall and it wasn't offered in any semester last year. For macro, you don't have any choices. These are your classes. It's Dynamics of Leadership and Social Policy Advocacy in the spring, and then it's Admin Practice and Community Development in the fall. The only prereq class is Social Policy Advocacy. You have to take Social Policy Analysis before you can take that class. But again, if you follow the degree plans that are in your folder, you should be just fine. My clinical folks, you will take DSM, Cognitive Behavioral Interventions, which is like ongoing intervention, and then BTI, or Brief Targeted Interventions, which is more crisis intervention kind of techniques. So in addition to those requirements, you have both clinical and macro have 4 open electives. And you can fill those with a myriad of classes. You can either take the classes that are offered and just you see random classes that are being offered like global justice or mediation or I'm just trying to think of a few, school social work. You could just take them randomly, or if you have a specialization, so look at your cardstock. On the back side of the degree plan is a list of specializations. So you can see on the specialization list, there's a list of classes underneath each one. In those top boxes, that tells you the required classes, and in the bottom boxes tells you you have to pick two of those optional classes to make a specialization take. So, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing you can do is, let's say you get placed in field, you get a field placement that you love. Like you're placed at, let's just say Montrose Place, and you are loving your field placement, and you want to do additional hours there. If you take on extra hours, I think it's an extra 250 clock hours, you can do a field elective. There's some of you will get a field elective, which counts as an open elective credit. Some of you will get field elective credit if you get placed in a hospital setting in your field 3 and 4 placements because they require so many hours of you. So we can talk more about that if that's an option for you next semester. The other thing I want to talk about is the independent studies. So again, like we talked about, if you came here and you really have an interest in a population that's not, and that class is not offered on that, you can do an independent study. Or if a faculty approaches you, because sometimes that happens too, they have research projects going on and they need your assistance, you could create an independent study with that faculty member. And that will count as open elective credit. The other great thing is we have travel abroad courses. So twice a year, Dr. Patrick Leung offers study abroad courses. This year they went to the UK, Swansea and Wales. And then the other one, they went to Puerto Rico, I think. So every year, and there's another group that was going to Hong Kong. So every year we have study abroad options, and those count as course credit. So if you are interested in that, I would stay tuned to the emails that I send out, because there'll be more information coming about where they're going this year, because that hasn't been announced yet. Okay, so back to the choice between macro and clinical. So you're sitting on the fence, and you feel like, I don't know if I want to be macro, I don't know if I want to be clinical. What you can use your open electives for is to take the opposite concentration classes, right? So that you can sort of straddle the fence and get expertise in both areas. Let's see, we talked about specializations. And the last one is Austin Legislative Internship, which I will talk about in the next slide, so I'm just going to hold off for a minute. So here we are in the special programs. Okay, so in addition to specializations, I'm sure this is like, it's very confusing. We also have a couple special programs. The first one is called Globe, and the contact is Samson McLean. And before you guys start panicking about contact information, look at your handbook and go to the very last page right here. So you can see, if you open it up, it says Patrick Leung. He is the director of our study abroad program. So if you want to learn more about study abroad, Dr. Leung's address is right there. The next one down is Suzanne Pritzker, and she's in charge of our Austin Legislative Experience. So I'm going to start with that one first, actually. So every other year, the Texas government Texas Congress convenes. And when it does, we send students there to do internships. It's an amazing experience. If you're interested in political social work, it is an amazing opportunity to really learn how our government works, how bills get created and passed, and really what goes on that creates policy for this state. So if you're interested in that, definitely come find me afterwards or reach out directly to Suzanne Pritzker, because she's interviewing right now for those positions. I think for you guys, she's going to be having an information meeting in September, so you don't have to panic yet. It's my advanced standing students that I need to let know that they need to contact her today. So she will be having an information meeting coming up, and let me tell you about that. It is okay, so for incoming students, it will be September 5th from 4:15 to 5:30. So mark that on your calendars if you're interested in doing that legislative experience. The next one is the Child Welfare Education Project. And again, on that back page of your handbook, the contact for that is either Arnisha Walker or Vanessa Shepard. And they both were worked at CPS and are now a part of the Child Welfare Education Project. This program is for people who are interested in working in child welfare. It offers a stipend, a tuition stipend, and book stipend for people who will eventually work in child welfare. However, just so you know, it is a contractual program where if you get the stipend, you have to work for CPS for a certain number of years to pay back the tuition that they're paying us. But it is a great opportunity if you plan on working there to go ahead and apply for that program. The other one is the Trauma Education Program, and that is another really great program for those of you that plan on doing clinical work with children or adults. Donna Ampsberg is our professor who is in charge of that program, and she also has her contact information should also be on that page, and just want to say a few things about that. She wanted me to tell you guys that you're going to be prepared to be leaders in trauma-informed practice through education, research, and community collaboration. And they prepare clinical social workers to be able to do assessments, to treatment planning, all the way through. So it's a great opportunity for you. And Donna Ampsberg is the professor in charge of that. And then Globe, I think we talked about that just briefly earlier. McLean Sampson is in charge of that program. That program also offers a stipend. It's a $10,000 stipend towards your second year here. And the purpose of the grant is it's a federal grant that offers this money. And the purpose of it is to increase the number of culturally competent social workers who deliver behavioral health services to underserved populations. Any questions so far? Yes.
So these aren't specializations. Are these classes or extra?
These are programs. These are programs. So these are called special programs. What I talked about before are specializations. So, yeah, they need to change the names of these things. It's way too confusing. This is not specializations. These are programs that are offered here as opportunities to learn something specific or to get financial assistance while you're here. So Globe, there's trainings associated with all of them, but some of them offer a financial stipend with it, like Globe does, CWEP does. If you're interested in Austin Legislative Internship, sometimes that also has a financial component because you have to move from here to Austin for a semester. But those are not specializations. We'll talk, just give me a minute, we'll get more to specializations in a second. Yes, no, it's okay.
This is in addition to the field placement, or does something count as your?
So that's a very good question. No, this is all really good. So with both Globe, CWEP, I guess you're right, all of them sort of tie into field placements. So if you get the Globe stipend and you get accepted in that program, you will be placed in a Globe approved placement for your Field 3 and 4 placement, right? So as you're interviewing for your Field 3 and 4 placements, you'll want to be cognizant of that. And I'm sure Dr. Sampson will tell you, which ones work for you and which ones don't. For trauma education, it's the same thing. Donna Amsberg works very closely with certain placements to make sure that they meet the criteria for trauma-informed practice. And she's another one that would be a great person to contact if you're interested in that program. That would be for Field 3 and 4. Yes, Globe is specific for Field 3 and 4. Trauma education is for Field 3 and 4. Austin Legislative Internship is a little bit different because it's available. If you're macro, it can count as your Field 3 and 4. But if you're clinical, you can still go. It would just count as sort of class credit, and it would come into your open electives. It would count. It would kind of take up a lot of your open electives, and then social policy advocacy. Yes.
So you do the Austin one. What about just normal classes? Do you do semester classes or you take them online?
So you don't have to extend out. You can. We try to work with you to help you figure it out. We do a lot of creative class planning. So that's why if you're interested in doing Austin, we want to know as soon as possible so that you don't have to extend out. Because if we know right from the beginning that's what you're going to be doing, then I can plan with you to try and get you to graduate. Usually what most of my Austin students do is they might push themselves into the summer just because you come back so exhausted from Austin that they might want to take a class or two that summer. But any other questions? Yeah. Yes, there's an application program for all of these. Every one of them is an application. They're all competitive programs. So it's not like just because you're interested, you'll get it. But I just wanted to make you aware of all of them so that when the applications do come out and you start hearing about them, you know that if you want to apply or not. No. The only thing that started the interview process has started was for Austin, but that's because it was for the students that started here last year. Because it's only every other year. So, but you are still very much eligible and encouraged to apply for the Austin program, even though it's your first year. Anything else? Okay, here we're on specializations. Okay, so we just talked about special programs. I know I'm super confusing. But specializations is like what we talked about before, like a sort of a minor. That's what specializations are. And there's 3 of them that are pre-programmed. The most common one that I would say 85% of my students do is health and behavioral health, because that's the one that most people who are going to work in the medical field usually get, and a lot of our community is sort of aware of it. The second most popular would be political social work, because if you're going to Austin, you might as well specialize. You're going to meet all their criteria anyway, so you sort of get it by default. But there's other programs. You don't have to go to Austin to get the political social work specialization. There are other opportunities here, and if you're interested, it is still a very cool program. But just so we can sort of understand it, so like I said, this very top line here lists the required classes. For health and behavioral health, you have a choice. You can either take contemporary issues in mental health, which is offered in the summer, or you can take behavioral health for health. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. These class titles are too long. Behavioral health for social work practice and integrated healthcare. So you can take one of those 2. If you're interested in both those classes, you can take both, and then you just have to take one of these classes at the bottom. If you only take one, then you have to take 2 of the classes that are listed in this bottom section. Does that make sense? Okay. So for political social work, if you're macro, you have to take that top class anyway. You have to take social work, social policy advocacy anyway. But if you don't take that, you can take empowerment, or you can take both and just take one of these at the bottom. And then if you only take one of these at the top, then you have to take 2 of these at the bottom. Now, I will warn you that there are a couple classes on here that I've been here for 3 years and I have not seen, like law and social work. I have not seen that been offered. And let's see what else I have not seen in a while. I think that's the only one. I think the rest of them have been offered pretty consistently. Okay, now we come to the last specialization. So this is a tricky one because there aren't a lot of people who are usually interested in it for whatever reason. And so they usually offer the classes in the semesters you need them, but if not enough people register, then they don't take. So if you are interested in this class, we may have to help you create an independent study. If that's the case, you just meet with me and we'll figure something out. But just so you know that that does happen sometimes. Any questions about specializations? Yes.
So it says we have 4 electives, but only 3 for specializations, so is our 4th one just?
Right. You can do what you want with that. Exactly. The other thing I would say about specializations is that it's not an automatic, it's an application process. So again, if you are interested in doing a specialization, there will be a form that comes out in the beginning of the fall, and actually every semester that you can fill out and apply for. Usually it's health and behavioral health is pretty straightforward, and same with political social work. The trick comes in when they have to make sure that your placements coordinate with the specialization so it makes sense, right? So Jan Leger is our MSW program manager, and she's in charge of specializations, and she'll be the person you want to reach out to and talk to if you have any questions about if you think the class that you want could count, or if you think it's the right specialization for you, and she'll tell you if that's appropriate or not. The other thing I want to tell you is Trinadia Caxton Martin, who was in here earlier, she handles the intake of the application. So she just helps, when you're applying for specializations, she will be the person, your point contact. And like I said, she should be sending out an application in the early fall. But it'll be every semester it's offered. They have an application open until your Field 3 placement starts, and then it's too late. So you want to definitely make sure that you apply if you're interested in doing a specialization before you start Field 3. Okay, so if you miss it this semester, it's not a big deal, but next semester you should really try to hone in and get that done. Okay, this is your degree plan like we talked about. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, sorry, individualized, yes. So individualized is just that. You're proposing, you'll get, if you're interested in that, on the specialization form, it has sort of a section for an individualized specialization plan, and you're basically proposing what classes you think you should take to create the specialization plan you want, right? So it could be like let's say you're interested in domestic violence. So you want to do a specialization on domestic violence. So you want to take women's issues, and you want to take social policy advocacy, and then you want to do an independent study with who's into domestic, Donna Ampsberg, for an independent study on domestic violence, because that's what her expertise is. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying that's an example off the top of my head. Okay, so that's what you would do for an individualized specialty. And then you'll submit that to Jan Leger, and she will determine if that's an appropriate combination, or if she has any suggestions for what you should do different, that sort of thing. Yes?
There are some collectors on the cardstock that aren't on the slide. Does that mean that they're not offered anymore?
So the things that are on the cardstock are what's consistently offered. The things that are not offered, some of these electives are sometimes offered and sometimes they're not. And so depending on the semester, the specializations change. So if there's something you're interested in, like I said, check in with me and I can let you know if I know if it's been offered recently. So I don't create these degree plans or the specialization charts. They're given to me. I just want to sort of give you guidance on what my experience has been with them. Does that make sense? Okay. And so like I said, this is your degree plan. Make sure you hold on to your cardstock, and as you go along, check off those boxes. I also put check boxes on the bottom of your individual degree plan. I don't know if you can tell I'm a little compulsive about this. But the thing that upsets me the most is when students come to my office and they think that they are ready to graduate and they've applied, and then we find out they're missing a class. And so I don't want that to happen to anybody. So every year I try to come up with some new way to like help people guide through the process of getting the classes they need done. All right, so if you are clinical, this is what your degree plan looks like. Any questions? And if you are macro, this is what your degree plan will look like. Now, the green sheet that's in your folder, that lists all the enrollment numbers for you to use to register for classes. Don't copy your neighbor. Do not copy your neighbor, because all of you have different section numbers depending on which cohort you're in. So, and it's very important that you register in the cohort that you are assigned. So, does everyone have their green sheet? Yeah? Okay. If for some reason you don't have it or you feel like you have the wrong one, again, reach out to me and talk to me. But if you pretty much follow those 5-digit section numbers that are listed on your green sheet, you should be fine. One other thing I want to point out to you guys that is super confusing, to add to the confusion here with specializations and special programs and special everything, is the fact that we use the same 4-digit course number for like 15 different classes. So don't panic if you see 7397 next to like 10 different classes. Every time we create a new class, the university requires us to call it 7397 or 6397. So you will see that a lot. So my advice to you is do not pay attention to the 4-digit number. Pay attention to the name of the class and the 5-digit section number. That is what's most important, okay? This is your summer reading. Has everyone started the summer reading? Yeah? Awesome. So glad to hear that. So these are the 4 things that you need to make sure you read before doing, or see, also the TED Talk, before you start your summer reading assignment. And again, just to emphasize, your summer reading assignment is due the first day of class, August 16th. Any questions? So I'm not going to talk about student standards because Dr. Mulhagen is going to talk about it later, but I just want to sort of make you familiar with this. In the student handbook, there is a list of student standards and a link to, which I guess you can't, there's an online link to the student standards from your confirmation packet. Sorry, not the handbook, the confirmation packet. And it's broken up into 3 sections. The student standards, the review process for violations of student standards, and academic grievances. And I just want you to sort of be aware of those things. I also want you to be aware that there is a form in your folder. It's a salmon color. Oh, wait, no, sorry, lilac. I'm sorry, too many forms. It is purple, this purple one. See this purple one, or lilac? This is the student standards form. We need you to sign it, read the student standards, and then sign this form acknowledging that you are in agreement with them. It's very important that we get this signature page, otherwise there could be a hold put on your account. So please, please, please sign this form today and get it turned back into me before you leave. In fact, why don't you guys, if you can, sign it now. And then it's okay. If you don't have your student ID number, that's okay. Just put your name. I know your student ID number, so just sign it. That's totally fine. The other form I want to bring your attention to is the FERPA form. So there's a salmon piece of paper in your folder right here. And on one side, it has a FERPA form, and the other one is a photo release. So one is a fun form. The photo form is a fun form. It means you're okay with us taking pictures of you at the GCSW and putting your picture on our website and in newsletters or emails and all that good stuff. And if you're not okay with that, then you just need to put a line through it and say, I don't consent. However, this is my disclaimer. If you see someone walking around here with a camera taking pictures, don't jump in the picture because that means, how are we going to be able to, how are you going to be able to pull you out of a group photo? So if you know that you don't want to be photographed, your job is to stay out of the photos. And we will try to make sure that we don't put you in any if you comply with that request. The other side is a FERPA form. And I know you guys, a lot of people say, this is like a duplicate form because I did this when I registered with the university. Well, here's the problem. We don't have access to the one at the university. And as much as I thought this form was ridiculous when I first started working here, so I was like, what do I need this for? If the university has one, why do we need this? Unfortunately, I have used this form every semester with at least one student. We're like a small village, right? And so things happen, life happens. And if something happens to you and your family members or that your loved ones are trying to reach out to me, telling me to, to take you out of classes or to reach your professors, I can't talk to anyone because I'm bound by confidentiality unless there's someone on this FERPA form. And I hate to say it, but truly every semester I've had a reason to pull at least one FERPA form, if not 2 or 3. So please, please fill it out and put someone that you trust on there. And that way that if something does happen, we can take care of you and take care of your needs here at the GCSW. Any questions so far?
So on this form, do you just check every box?
You just have to check the box where it says this information may be the one about academic records, and the information may be released to, and put the name of the person that you trust. I mean, you can check as many boxes as you want to, but the most important one for me is academics. That's the only one I'm going to talk to them about. I'm not going to discuss your attendance in class, or, I promise I'm not going to call any one of your family members and say, you know what, Josie did not show up for class today. So it's only if someone reaches out to me and says, I need you to know that Josie cannot be in class today because, she's in the hospital. And I'm like, well, I can't tell you if Josie's a student or not. And they say, well, I'm on her FERPA form. And so I can go pull your FERPA form and then I have consent to talk to that person. So, any other questions about the FERPA form or photo release? By the way, if you get a scholarship, they love seeing pictures of you. Just saying. Okay. Academic policies. Not that this should be a problem for any of you, because I know you all are amazing students and super on top of your game, but just in case, we have a 3 C's policy here at the university. Your first C is a warning, your second C, you're on probation, and your third C, you are out of the graduate program. And not only are you gone from this program, you can't be a part of any U of H graduate program if you get a third C. So it's a really big deal. And that's why my advice to you is please, please reach out if you need help. Do not sit on it. I think a lot of times we feel so much guilt and shame when we're struggling, and don't. Reach out for help. The other thing I'll tell you is, like, if you know you're going to be absent for class because, you have some really important responsibility that you have to handle, reach out to your professors in advance. Do not miss class and then tell them. You need to talk to them up front and come up with a plan before it happens, if at all possible. Also, if you are sick, email them in advance. Let them know I have the flu, I can't make it to class. What should I do? Stay engaged, communicate with your professors, be responsive, and be responsible. We're all social workers in this, or most of us are social workers in this building. We want you to be successful. We want you to succeed, but we need you to do your part, okay? The other thing is the low GPA rule. So you have to maintain a 3.0. If your grades drop below a 3.0, you have 1 semester to pull them up, okay? So again, that's why it's really important to stay on top of your game and stay connected to us if you need assistance. The other thing I want to make sure that I touch on is the Center for Students with Disabilities. If you have a learning disability or you have a disability of any kind, please make sure to contact the Center for Students with Disabilities because they can help you get accommodations. It is imperative that you get those accommodations before classes start. We can't apply accommodations retroactively. So, because there's multiple reasons. It's not that your teachers are mean or they don't want to help you. It's that they're held to a standard by the university of not showing favoritism. So unless it's documented, they can't give you the accommodations that you need. So make sure that you check in with the Center for Students with Disabilities. If you have a problem getting a hold of them or getting your paperwork to go through, contact me because I will help you with that. Make sure you keep your email, your destination email address. Yes.
Does using a laptop for taking notes require accommodations?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Make sure that you have a destination, your destination email is current and that it's connected to the U of H account because that's how we communicate with you guys. The other thing so on that note though, I want to talk about email. We had like email gate last year. It was a nightmare. There was a problem where Yahoo and U of H were in a fight and emails from U of H were not going through to Yahoo accounts and Yahoo emails weren't coming through us, and so it was just doing this and no one was getting any communications, and it turned into a disaster because the main way we communicate with students is through email. So this year we're starting something new. We are creating Blackboard shells that every face-to-face student will be a part of and linked to. And we will be posting every e-blast that I send out will also be posted on the Blackboard. And same with Cindy, what Cindy sends out about scholarships. Basically, any communications about events, about advising, anything will be on that Blackboard shell. So as soon as Blackboard opens up to you for the semester, definitely check it out and make it a part of your routine to check it because like I said, if for any reason the email situation happens again, which I don't know if it will or not, you know the information that you need will be on Blackboard, okay? Then also put down the links for the graduate catalog and for the policies of the graduate school. And you can go to the UH website and just type in graduate school and that will all come up. So a lot of our enrollment holds came with GRE scores, and since we no longer require the GRE, yay! That is no longer an issue. But there are some other things that still cause holds, like prior degree verification. That's a big deal. If for some reason your official transcript has not been posted yet, you got to make sure that gets in as soon as possible. Like let's say you graduate in August and your degree is coming in now or in 2 weeks for some reason, make sure you get us your final grade posting so that we can try and put a petition into the graduate school to have that hold lifted until your final transcript is in. Let's see what else. If you have any outstanding financial balance, there will be a hold on your account. And the university is super strict about it. If you owe 50 cents to the university for a copy you made, they'll put a hold on your account. So you got to make sure you get those holds taken care of. And then I don't know how many of you are under the age of 22, but if you are, you need to have a bacterial meningitis immunization done, or you have a hold on your account for that. And if you have any questions about your holds, reach out to Trinadia. She is our master of help with holds. Okay, everyone ready to enroll? Yes? Woohoo! Okay, so this page is what your account will look like when you pull it up. So you will pull up My UH. Everyone have their laptop? How are we doing on time? Cindy, we doing okay on time? So what time is it? Okay. Okay. Yes. Not for this semester. So because so the good thing is that for you guys, everyone has to do foundation. So whether you're clinical or macro, your first semester is the same. But definitely reach out to me so we can talk and I can change your degree plan so you have the right one after this. Okay. Does everyone have their MyUH page up? Yes. I think that, so for some of you have 2 degree plans in your folder. It's because I had you down, there, for some reason you were listed on both checklists. So I just put those down, and then I thought you could just reach out to me and tell me which one.
So for right now, I know maybe that's what she has.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter right now because everybody in this room is taking foundation courses, right? Yeah? Okay. So once you've logged, yes. No. So so let me explain cohorts really quickly. I'm sorry, what? No, I don't think I did explain it. So let me explain really quickly. So you're divided up into cohorts for your first semester. After your first semester, you guys will take classes in, different times. There'll be several sections of CBI or BTI. The only people who will probably stay together is the macro people because it's such a small group. You guys will all take the same classes together, all the core classes at least. But after first semester, your cohorts will sort of dissipate. It's just a great way we keep you guys together in groups because it's a great way to form a support system from the beginning. And some of these cohorts stay friends for years and stay together and stay close. And the others, it just lasts a semester and they move on. So it really just depends. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So foundation classes, the ones you're taking in the fall, are not are exactly what they are. They're foundation curriculum, and they are the basis. You have to get all your foundation classes in before you ever can take any advanced classes. So all the classes that are on your enrollment sheet, those are the classes that are foundation classes, and then what's required before you can move on to anything else. Okay? So here we are on, oh yes. No, so the way cohorts are a toss-up of everybody. We try to just do a random mix of a bunch of different people so that you're getting a viewpoint from all different kinds of standpoints. So no. Any other questions? Yes. Maybe one of your neighbors can help you. And I can also help anyone who's not able to register right this second. I can help you later. I can help you with later today, or someone in this building, maybe one of your fellow students can help you who's sitting next to you. But basically, what you're going to do is you're going to log into MyUH, and this is what you're going to go to the website right there at the very top, the accessuh.uh. / Can everyone see that? Can everyone see the website? Tell me when you're there. Raise your hand if you've gotten there. Okay, awesome. Okay, so does everyone know their PeopleSoft number? Yes. No. Okay, so when you got your confirmation packet, there should have been a PeopleSoft number at the top of it. Once you have that, you're going to enter that PeopleSoft number in that top section, and you're going to click on the tab that says MyUH PeopleSoft Login, okay? And then is everyone there? Okay, all right, so we can go to the next page. Okay, so then you'll log in there, and in this page, after you get to here, you'll get to this page. And the section you're going to want to go to is this little button down here, this MyUH button. Some of you may have less buttons, because I think this is a staff member who I took a screenshot of. But you're going to click down here on MyUH. Everyone there? No, back up. Anyway, you'll click on MyUH, and then you'll get to the next page, and you'll get to here. and you'll click on Student Center, the icon in the top right-hand corner, and then you'll come to this bottom part, where it'll look like this, where it says Student Home, and you'll click on Enroll. Do you see that? Everyone see that? Okay. And then you're going to put into the enrollment, the enter class number. You're going to enter the 5-digit section numbers that are on your green sheet. Do you see that? Everyone understand this so far? Yeah. You can't move forward? Okay. So you may have to do this later. It may not be, you may have to get some help with IT later. But if you can, I would go ahead and enroll. The good thing for you guys is I don't want you to panic if you can't enroll today, because the good thing is that you're guaranteed a spot in the class that you're in your cohort. So there's no need to panic if you can't get in at this time. You will get the classes you need. There will be a time later on in future semesters where you will be competing for classes, but now is not the time. You are guaranteed a spot in whatever class that you're assigned to, okay? But if you are having problems, just reach out to one of us later, okay? So you'll go ahead and put the 5-digit number in, and then your list, after you've submitted all your section numbers, this is what your screen should look like. You should get to a point where you can see where all your classes are listed, okay? And this is how you confirm that you're enrolled. Has anyone been able to do this so far? Awesome. Yay, good. I'm so glad. Okay. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about that I don't know if Dr. Mulhagen or Dr. Nierendorf talked about, but one of the perks you have here on campus is CAPS, our Center for Psychological Services. It's a place where you can get counseling for very, very cheap. It's like free the first session and then like $5 for every session thereafter. This program, you're going to be doing a lot of self-exploration, and a lot of times this brings up a lot of stuff that people didn't even think they had in them. Or you're going through a rough time because graduate school is hard and stressful, and we know that. Please take advantage of the services that are offered here on campus. This might be the best time to do therapy because it's the cheapest it will ever be in the rest of your lifetime. Yes.
I interned there in my undergraduate, and they have so your first session is free individually, and then the rest you pay $5 a time. It's an hour, or you can do it with groups, so with other students, and it's free the whole time.
Right, that's right. They have multiple groups in the evenings, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Is there a cap for the groups? I don't know. That's a good question.
They just tell you if normally there'll be a stress management one, or emotional disorders or something like that, and everyone just goes to that one group. But I'm sure you could make your own or anything like that if you met other people that had the same thing going on.
Yes.
Similar to hers, is there a maximum amount of counseling sessions you can go to?
I think it's 8, right? No?
As long as the counselor sees the need for you to keep coming to individual sessions, you can continue to go.
Oh, that's
Now,
changed it
the
then.
group you could go for the whole year, every year you're here. It doesn't matter.
That's good to know because they changed that because it used to be that they capped you out at 8, so it's good to know. The other thing I want to tell you about is that's also free with your tuition is the fitness center. It is awesome. The gym here is amazing. They have a beautiful pool, amazing rock wall, great. It's a great gym. So if you are here on campus, I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of that as well. And then we also have, is Ann coming later today? Ann's coming later. So later today, you'll learn about our career and alumni services also. And that's another resource I want to keep you to keep in mind. That's really helpful. Does anyone have any questions so far? Yes.
The part where it says that we view the results, are we done enrolling?
does your screen list your classes? Yeah? And you've got all your classes listed in them, all of them. Okay, perfect. Yeah. As long as you hit enroll and submit, you should be good to go. Yes. Oh, Thursday. Okay. I apologize. They changed it this year. That's right. So, yes, that's still right. Yes. I, yeah, I think there's a session with IT later where they'll talk about how best use my UH. Any other questions? Yes. You don't have the enrollment button? You can't get in? Okay, we'll have to check in with you later with IT.
Field is still going with advanced standing, and they haven't had a break, so we're gonna give them a break.
Oh,
and
sure.
Come back here at 11.
Okay, so if you guys were done, unless you have any questions, if you guys want to take a break, go ahead and take a break. We have till 11, but you need to be back in here at 11 o'clock. Yes. Yes. Oh, before you guys leave, turn in your FERPA forms, your photo release, and your student standards forms. Yes, thank you for reminding me.